Now, if you come from my sister, I'm going to go full Wemby mode. I'm going Wemby 100%. Hey, you hit my sister? Bing. Today you going to be like, yeah. All right, y'all handle it. Let me talk nerdy to you. The WNBA is back, and it has already yielded one of the biggest games ever of all time. The Dallas Wings took on the Indiana Fever in the highest scoring opening game in WNBA history. Both teams scored at least 100 points. It was like Oprah, you get a point, you get a basket, you get a bucket. It was so cool. Plus, one team just got the #1 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. We have a front office expert here to break it all down. Hey guys, here with Devon and Brandon. Today, I'm back in LA, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this is my MJ flu game, okay? All this travel, my voice is a little hoarse. I'm drinking tea. I'm under the weather. I was supposed to be on NBA today, but I was like, I can't do it, y'all. I'm gonna sound crazy. I gotta take care of my family on air. But because we're in the safety of my own home, I'm glad to be back in LA. But this weekend, I was in Indianapolis for WNBA opening weekend. So I get in at like 1, fall asleep at 2, and then my call time for Sports Center was at 7:30. So it was a quick turnaround. I was already getting that little, that itch in the throat. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, I'm looking at Devon, who just sneezed. What is going on here?
Yeah, I think whatever you and Brandon have going on, it might be contagious virtually at this point.
Yeah. Look, it's all right. We're going to still give the people what they want. But I was in Indy, and it was unbelievable. Won the game. It came down to an opportunity for Caitlin Clark to tie the game with a final 3-point shot attempt. She got to her left side, step back. It didn't go down. And then they had another opportunity from Kelsey Mitchell, who dropped 30. And it didn't go down either. And it was a cool play because they used Caitlin as a decoy. And so that left a lot of room for Kelsey to get her shot. If they hit that shot to tie the game, the whole roof of Gamebridge Fieldhouse would have just come off. The roof would have been on fire. For real. And then when I went up, to get ready for our shows, because we were the pregame show, when I exited the elevators to the concourse, it was jam-packed. I've never seen that many people just chilling, waiting to get to their seats. And so it was cool, guys. It was cool.
Well, what did you compare it to? Like this opening season for the 30th?
I think this is the biggest ever opening season that I've ever experienced, because it feels like finally the infrastructure for the WNBA has met the moment. Like, we're having expanded arenas. Teams are getting their own facilities. The players are household names. Caitlin, Paige, Angel. I'm talking about in the future as well. Juju, Azzi, like these names. Asia. Did I say Asia? I better say Asia like 10 times, right?
Yeah.
These players are true superstars. The fans have I saw so many little babies with little jerseys. Like, it was just, it's the moment that we've dreamt of, in the biggest ways possible. The arenas, the merchandising, the entertainment in game. I just saw what day was it? Sunday? I flew. That's why I'm like on the struggle bus. I flew from Indiana, the first flight out to get back to LA so I could see NECA's home opener. Guess who performed at halftime? You made it when Red Panda is your halftime act. You made it. Yeah, we had Red Panda. She did her thing. So, it's just cool. It's just super cool. NECA had her moment coming back to the LA Sparks. I was just so proud. This is the thing that we dreamt of, and we never thought we'd be experiencing it. My sister's experiencing it as a player. I'm experiencing it as a media member. There's so many moments I take away. Like, in Indianapolis at Gamebridge, I go to the court during warmups and I see Kurt Miller, who was my longtime coach for the Connecticut Sun, and then obviously at the LA Sparks. I see Camille Little, who we played together under Kurt in Connecticut. They're coaches as well. I say hi to players. They're just so excited for the season. And then I get to LA, I see Kelsey Plum, and after the game, they're like, we motivated, like, we're not gonna let this happen at our house again. It just is so cool. The energy, the vibes, everything is like 10 out of 10. I mean, I was stressed though in LA. I was stressed though. That score got out of hand quick, but I was happy to see my sis. She did her thing. She came back in a big way.
I have a question, and I know this is taking us, we want to talk W and everything, Sinead, but describe opening day as a player and opening day as a media member. Like, I'm getting nervous thinking about both, but like, I'm wondering what's that like for you?
So opening day as a player is exactly what it's like on the first day of school when you're going to school and you're the popular kid. I mean, I was never that person, but like you got your outfit, you got your fresh outfit. You know who you're going to see when you walk you open the school door and you're like, oh yeah, that's like you dap up your people. Like you feel like you're the man, you're the woman, right? For WNBA, it's the same thing. Like you have gone through a grueling training camp. You are committed. So like, this is where you get the highest level of commitment because this is where everyone starts at the same baseline. No one has beat anyone yet. No one has lost anyone yet. It could be anyone's team. It could be anyone's year, right? And so it's that first day of school feeling where you lay out your pregame fit because now those tone fits are a moment and you just want to trust your preparation. You want to trust everything that you have your goal list and you're like, I want to be an all-star. I want to be an MVP. I want to be a champion. Like it just is such a pure start to the year. It's also very, very nerve-wracking because that first game is a lot. Like we saw it. The first quarters of multiple WNBA games, it was like, oh, ping pong. Like, you're working your nerves out, but the game settles in. And then as a media member, I think it's awesome because you get to talk about potential. Like, what could this Dallas Wings team be now that they have back-to-back number one picks? What can the Indiana Fever do now that their core is back and they've improved in their supporting cast? What can the New York Liberty do after getting Satu Sabali to sort of try to take down the Las Vegas Aces? What more can Asia Wilson do, if that even possible? And so it's just, I always tell people when I played, it was very stressful because you're so focused on yourself, your production, and your team. And you live and die at times by the box score. Or you live and die by your team's results. In my position as a media member, I get to celebrate everyone. I get to talk about the beauty of the game. I get to talk about the relationships I have with these players and what they want to be told, not what people assume should be told. And so I love being here. And I saw some commentary on threads like, Chiney, why you ain't playing? Like, you ain't never formally announced your retirement. I'm like, I'm still 34. Technically, if I felt like, I got a little wiggle with a jiggle, but I'm happy where I'm at.
Are you playing possum for a 10-day?
Yeah. You see, that 10-day could be like a cool 50 bands. So you know what I mean? If I need a cool 50 bands, I'll be like, hey, y'all need I still can do a little. Y'all want me to go hit somebody with 2 quick fouls? I can do that. Y'all need someone to finish the layup?
She ain't say give a bucket. She said, I got 2 quick fouls. I mean, that's...
Hey, one of them's an offensive foul, though. One of them offensive foul. You going to the line.
No. I'm good for a couple of boards. I'm good for a nice little step-through move. I'm good with a short little 10-footer. And I'm good for a good 2 fouls.
We talking about a Wemby type of foul?
I was going to say, don't be throwing balls like Wemby.
Now, if you come from my sister, I'm going to go full Wemby mode. I'm going Wemby 100%. Hey, you hit my sister? Bing. Today you going to be like, yeah. All right, y'all handle it. Y'all handle it. Everyone knows not to mess with me when it comes to her. It's getting hot, hot, hot. It's either that song or it's getting hot in here. I kind of like the hot headlines. Let's break down the hot opening weekend for the WNBA and some of the headlines that people are talking about. Starting with, should we pay more attention to the Aces' 33-point loss to the Mercury or their 27-point win over the Sparks? Mm-hmm. It's got to be the 27-point win over the Sparks. And I'm a straight shooter. I would normally be like, that was not a big deal. Opening day, ring day, which, by the way, Devon, those rings, it's hard to be innovative because we see countless championship teams, NBA, NFL, NHL, you name it, countless championship rings. They were unique with it. Did you see when they unscrewed it and it turned into its own, like, more personalized for a woman instead of having this big old chunk, right? The ring below, next level. But I actually spoke when saying hi after the Sparks game, that 27-point win that the Aces had. I spoke to Bam and I was like, Bam, like, hey, how you doing? Congrats on a great season. Congrats on 83. That was huge. And I was like, how was the first game? And he said, yeah, it's like hard because you see this team, you're watching this team emotionally go through all the trials and tribulations for 30 minutes right before tip. And this was a squad that started off last year, the Las Vegas Aces. They didn't have a good start to the season. They had key pieces that they needed to, mesh in. And then finally they started clicking. And once they clicked, they never looked back. But to relive that right before, and then also to get the rings and family and friends, it's a lot to process and then to go play a game. Meanwhile, the team that you swept is just salivating. And the last person you want to give a motivation to or a chip on the shoulder to is Alyssa Thomas, my good sis. And so I could put that in a bucket and just say that is an emotional day. And that is a trap game for any team. It's the first game of the year. People, no one's going to play well. It's very rare if you play well that first game of the year. So yeah, I didn't think too much about the Las Vegas Aces getting blown out by the Mercury. It did show me that the Mercury are going to move up on my top charts because I underestimated their ability to always find a player to step up when they need to. But yeah, I'm not overreacting, Devon.
Yeah, I don't think you need to overreact to this. You coming off a vacation. It's kind of like that first. You know how you go on vacation, Chiney, and you come back that first day after it. It's kind of like, I'm here, but I'm still vacation mode. It's one of those situations.
Let me tell you, there's no vacation for Asia. This is the one thing I just need to know how she trains, because every year she comes back better. And then she's making history for having the most historic seasons back-to-back years. There's no vacation for Asia, but I do think other people try to squeeze their vacations in 2 weeks before training camp. You're right. So Aces, they're still one of the teams to beat. Okay, something, nothing, or everything. Azzi Fudd not starting as the number one pick. This is something. This truly is something. Now, I don't want to knock Odyssey Sims. She was my classmate, class of 2014, number 2 pick in the WNBA. She has been a bucket ever since high school. We're Texas girls. And sometimes you kind of want to start the year with wins, with people that know what the WNBA is going to be like, what the competitive nature is going to be, someone that understands what it's like to guard a Kelsey Mitchell or a Caitlin Clark, right? So I can understand the rationale of putting people that understand what that moment is, but you have the number one pick and it's back-to-back number one picks. And the last thing that you want is for someone to not feel fully confident in belonging. Azzi is the best shooter that we've seen in a long time. She's a pure shooter. And she's someone that is also, I said, a perfectionist. On the show before the game, WNBA Countdown, Malika asked me, Chiney, what is Azzi Fudd going through? What's going through her mind? What would you tell yourself? Because you were in those shoes going into your first ever pro game. I said, embrace the moment because it's going to feel like a lot. But once the ball is tipped, you know what to do. It's muscle memory. And then I also said, progress over perfection. Because we are perfectionists. When you are an All-American, a national champion like Azzi Fudd is, you are a perfectionist. For me, I left Stanford averaging 25, 26 points per game, shooting near 60% from the field. I'm used to always making my shots. I'm used to always getting the ball and delivering for my team. But at the pros, it's a whole different level. And so you have to not be a perfectionist. She shot 45% from 3 on 7 attempts at UConn. She's a perfectionist. That's what she does, right? But in the pros, you have to shift that to how do I make progress knowing that it's going to be an adjustment? I think for her, she needs to be able to feel confident knowing that I belong, and starting off the bench, coming into the game off the bench. I just think you're creating mental, how do I say this? You're creating a mental challenge or a mental block that sometimes just playing that player, letting them go through the fire, that is the best way to learn. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Jose Fernandez balances what his game plan is to try to get a win, because he knows that the Dallas Wings, last year, y'all, they were 10-34. They were tied for last in the WNBA for the record. The only way is up. They're going to win more games by nature of having Azzi Fudd and having the number one pick and re-signing Arike Gumboale and having $1 million post players who came up clutch in that game, that the win that they got on the road in probably one of the rockiest, is that the word? Most rowdy crowds in the WNBA. You're going to naturally get more wins. You don't want to lose confidence. You don't want to create this loss of confidence for your number one pick because she's getting limited minutes. 17 minutes. She only shot the ball twice. That to me should never happen, especially when you're number one pick. You should have the opportunity to be able to sort of control your own destiny. And we'll see. We'll see how they handle it. Devon, you had a question for me.
I do. I think it's very interesting with how the weekend started. Someone not named Asia Wilson will lead the league in points per game. I have a few names. Let me know what you think.
Okay, hit me.
Kelsey Mitchell. She had 30.
Oh.
She had 30 this weekend. She's got a real good green light, and I think Indiana is very motivated this year to prove they're a for real contender.
Okay, who else you got?
Stewie is the obvious answer. Over there in New York, and then my last one. It's because I think they're going to take a jump offensively because defensively they already got it. What if Alicia Gray leads the league in scoring too?
Oh, this is not a bad list.
Three names.
Not a bad list.
That's it. It's a short list. And it's all hinging on if Asia Wilson wants to care about it or not too.
Yeah, if Asia's like, let me go do this. Let me do battle by myself. She gonna do that. Period. Right? I love how aggressive she is because she knows her team demands it. Like, they need it. For example, when she was playing the Los Angeles Sparks, her teammates were making shots. So she was like, okay, we got it. But then when that's not the case, she goes turbo mode. I like these choices. Kelsey Mitchell to me could be a really good dark horse because by the way that the season ended last year, I said that she's the best guard in the WNBA currently playing. You know, there were a couple of players out for injury, but like when we were entrenched in the playoffs, the way she was playing, I think she was averaging like 25 points per game at that point. And what people don't realize, this is not the NBA where Luka Doncic leads the NBA in 33 points. Like, that's not going to happen in the W. The WNBA, one, has fewer minutes, right? It's 12 minutes versus 10. But then two, the WNBA is a very physical league. Y'all heard Nafisa Collier's comments about it, right? So it's harder to get points off. On my flight back from India, I actually sat next to an amazing referee. And yes, I said amazing referee. Yes. They're cool. They could be cool. She was awesome. And she said, how did we do? And I said, the fact that we didn't even remember you were on the floor and that the game was free flowing, that to me shows great progress. And again, this was coming off of the game that had the highest ever scoring opener, over 100 points by the Dallas Wings and the Indiana Fever. And so I say, like, if the league continues to trend where there's freedom of movement, like Kelsey Mitchell could easily put herself in the category of averaging over 20. And I think it's going to be better for the WNBA. Alicia is a great choice as well. Atlanta has a lot to prove. Obviously, getting Angel Reese is important, and I think they'll want to win because they're going to be a lot more eyeballs on them. But she has been one of the most underrated buckets, and she's excellent in transition. Once the rebound is secured, this woman, I want you guys to look at her feet. Her wheels go crazy. It's like, that's what she looks like. Yeah. So she gets so many good, quick buckets, gets to the free throw line, but also she also has a nice set shot. Mm-hmm. So I like that. And then who was the last person you said?
Stewie, obvious choice.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like New York, Stu York. So, okay. I also think that there is at times we saw this with Nikola Jokic, voter fatigue, right? Asia has won 4 MVPs. She was voted by the GMs to win it again. But if someone does come out of the gate super hot and their team is winning, I would not be surprised if like people start thinking, okay, like there could be someone else entering the chat. And it could be a guard. The last few MVPs, forwards and posts, shout out to us, have been running the award. And so I think based off of the way that the game is now likely going to be officiated more, that benefits the freedom of movement and shooting, a guard can enter the chat. Okay, we'll monitor that, Devon. We'll monitor that.
I'm going to watch it close.
All right. Another point, the Mystics are the youngest team in the league. Despite that, they will make the playoffs. I think the Washington Mystics could make the playoffs, for sure. I think their average age is 24. Mind you, you enter the WNBA around 22. So that means their average age is, like, I think they said that only 2 players have more than 1 year of experience in the WNBA. This is like the young and the fun and the restless and the ratchet because they love to turn things up. The Mystics will be good. They will be good. It's a question of how can they integrate their pieces and build an identity and know what their system is with so much youth. So I don't think it's far-fetched. Sonia Citron already started off the year balling. Like one of the most, oh my gosh, you look up and you're like, 20 minutes have gone by and she got 20 points in 20 minutes? Like, how did that happen? Just a smooth, silky, great advanced reader. Kiki Iriafen, a dynamic, explosive post. Shakira Austin. Like, those two are going to be, tough to battle against in the paint. Georgia Amore making highlights. Like, they have so much talent. I'm excited to see what they do. And I would not, they're like the Charlotte Hornets. You don't want to play a team like that. Young, confident, not great, not much expectation. That means that they are super dangerous. That could be the Washington Mystics.
We haven't even seen the rookies yet. Lauren Betts or Cody McMahon. Like, I can see them making the playoffs. They were really close last year and the year before that too. Yeah, that's all I have.
Here comes Debo. Cody McMahon. She's yoked. Love her. Love her. And last hot headline, okay, because we're already interweaving WNBA and NBA. All right, the Knicks will make the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. I am all aboard the Knicks train. Yes, that might look like me jumping on the bandwagon. Yes, I had to apologize because I thought based off of how the Philadelphia 76ers finished their first round series, game 7, where Embiid was dominant, Maxey was balling, VJ was balling, Paul George looked like he turned back the clock. I was like, oh, this team is stacked. They will challenge the Knicks. Knicks have completely erased all of the doubts that I have in my mind. This team will be in the NBA Finals. They will. You need that perfect combination of skill, Jalen Brunson, skill from the guard position. OG Anunoby, I know he's out, but he's been bought time. Sweeping the Philadelphia 76ers helps you allow him to heal. Karl-Anthony Towns, they have finally figured out that this man is capable of much more than just being a three-point shooter and attacking the basket. He has been a creator. We've seen triple doubles in this playoffs. He just came off of the clinching game for round 2. I think he had 10 assists in that game. They found a versatility to play with that has been lacking. It's not just the traditional let Brunson cook, find Cat open, OG hard-nosed play, Josh Hart doing something, hustling. Like, no, they actually have versatility. So they have skill, they have versatility. And lastly, they're playing their best version of basketball when it matters most. This is the best the Knicks have looked in years. And they're confident. And it just feels like they finally have bought in. That's something that Mike Brown said. He said, hey, what we learned in the Hawks series is like, my guys are diving on the floor for loose balls, whether we win or lose. Like, this is how they care about every possession. They are completely tapped in. And so this is a year. What is it? What is it, Prince? Since 1999, right?
I'm 22.
They're going to the NBA Finals.
Apparently I'm 22, so I don't know.
You're always 20. You're right. You wouldn't know nothing about this because you are a baby. We don't ever know your real age. But like, I think this is a year that they actually get to the NBA Finals, and I am fully bought in.
I'm fully bought in too. I've been kind of like wait and see with them since getting to the playoffs, because after they won the in-season tournament, they had a dip. They couldn't hit a three-pointer to save their lives. But their offense has gotten so much better to where it was at with the in-season tournament. And there's just so much fluidity in their offense. And I'm surprised, like the difference between last year's Knicks team and this year's Knicks team, defensively, they still have their stoppers. But Tom Thibodeau's offense versus Mike Brown's offense,
predictable.
Night and day. Yeah.
And also they have depth. The question was like, are you going to tire these guys out? Deuce McBride could come in and knock down back-to-back threes. Like, excuse me. Mitchell Robinson is going to be important for them, making sure that they have a banger, knowing what's to come. So they have depth for the first time that's being utilized in a smart way. This is not a knock on the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons have finally found themselves too. They're getting production outside of Cade Cunningham. My favorite, Tobias Harris, who's also in my class of 2014. Class of 2010, high school. They call him Onk, which is funny because I'm like, I fully embraced my auntie era. Very much auntie. He's Onk, which shows you that I'm up there, man. I'm up there. But he's been their consistent number 2 scorer. Duncan Robinson knocking down shots. Jalen Duren, I think we just have to come to terms with his numbers in the regular season, around 19, 20 per game. They're not going to show up the way that we expected, but he is still going to compete at a high level. A reason why they won some of those tough games is because he got blocks, he got stops, and he got dunks at the right time. So this is not a knock on the Detroit Pistons. I just think that no one is playing better right now in the entire NBA than the New York Knicks. It's time for The Breakdown, where we talk about the most important stories that you need to know and lose. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the Chineyborhood. Yes, Bobby, we call it the Chineyborhood. All my friends that are just on these ESPN streets with me. The one, the only Bobby Marks, our expert top front office insider. And he obviously spent 20 plus years in the NBA running front offices. He's probably one of the coolest people that I know and one of the nicest people that I know at ESPN. Former football player who just pivoted and transition to hoops. Good choice, by the way. Good choice. Bobby, thanks for joining.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That's quite an intro. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, we got to give the people what they want, and they love you. And you are an expert when it comes to front office decisions and, of course, the NBA draft and the lottery. Can you just sort of table set, what is that room like? How so many pressures happening for all of these executives because this is out of their control. They're just hoping that the balls bounce their direction.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the draft prospects will go through where you pick Stanford, right? But you didn't really have much control when you came into you don't have control of that process. And it's the same from a team perspective. You're relying on combinations. You're relying on a lottery combination.
But there was one team that was pretty lucky. And so this is everything that you need to know about the draft lottery with Bobby Marks. The Wizards, the Pacers, and the Nets, they all had the best chance to land the number 1 overall pick. It went to the Washington Wizards, and luck was on their side, which was super cool because the last time that the Wizards drafted number 1 was John Wall, who represented the team on the stage. Look, I like that. Manifest that pick by sending the guy that actually was the one. So that's good. But you mentioned, Bobby, how you want to have years of, I guess you can say, struggle and at least have something to show for it. The Wizards had 3 of the worst seasons in its franchise's 65-year history. It paid off. Most notably this past year, they went 17-65. And on top of this past year, Bam, who I saw actually, I saw at NECA's game, at the LA Sparks game. We'll talk about those results later, okay? It's all good. Bam dropped 83 on the Wizards. So not only did they have a horrible year, but they had a horrible year, but they actually pulled off some good in getting Trae Young and getting Anthony Davis. And now they have the number 1 pick. So what does this mean, Bobby, for the Washington Wizards?
Well, I mean, it's almost like, when John was drafted in 2010, and it still breaks my heart because I was with the Nets then, and we had the number 1 pick going into the lottery. We were 12. Janae, we were 12-70 that year. You know what 12-70 does to somebody's spirit? So we had number 1 pick going in the lottery, and Washington moved up and got number 1. We fell back to number 3. I just think it's a game changer. I think it's a game changer for a lot of things. It's for, as you mentioned, where the Wizards have been, the ability to go out and get Trae Young in January, then get Anthony Davis in February. You have such a young team already with that group. And now you have a decision to make as far as whether it be AJ Dybantsa or Darren Peterson, or maybe do you move back in the draft and pick up more things? I think don't be cute with the draft. If you know who you want to pick, don't go for it. More draft picks doesn't really mean much if you can get a really good player. So they're going to get a solid player here. And as you said, it's just been like years in the making here. And here's their one opportunity. It's, is it Victor, coming into this draft like we saw at San Antonio? No. But I think AJ, whatever direction they go with AJ or Darren, either player I think will fit in really, really good.
It seems like most people are gravitating towards AJ potentially being the number 1 pick. Why is that?
I think more of a body of work this year. I think more of, certainly with Darren had an up and down season with Kansas, certainly the injuries. Kind of thought they played him out of position a little bit too, which will be interesting. I said this last week on our draft call. I said people really need to go back and watch his high school film at Prolific because he really played on the ball more, which I think will be interesting. And that's like the conversation with the Wizards. All right, now if we put him with Trey's off the ball, how does this backcourt look and everything? So I do think that, Jeremy Woo had Darren number 1, our draft expert, before the season started. And, AJ, what he did in the Big 12, what he did when there was injuries with that roster. Everybody loves big wings, that. Everybody asks, how do we get a big wing? I saw him when I was out in LA a couple weeks ago at Loyola working out, and he looks terrific. Darren looks terrific too. And I think the medical for Darren will be important that he goes through this week. The interviews that he goes through will be important. And then how much of a comfort level that organization has with either player will be, certainly the determining factor.
Could you tell me like a percentile? What percent do you think that AJ will go 1 to Washington?
I would say, if you're asking me right now, I would probably put it more like 80, 85.
Ooh, that's high.
I think I think if it's right now, but we still got 6 weeks to go. I think right now, based off all the information, that we've seen over the last year, and certainly what AJ did in high school and what he's done for Team USA, like he's got a great lineage as far as playing for the national team. I would say I would probably lean more towards the higher odds, but that could certainly change in the next month here.
And he's kind of got like a media star factor.
Oh,
he has not seen a camera.
He's got a personality. Listen, I walked into his workout. I had met him a year ago in Las Vegas and had a dinner with him and his dad. His mom's awesome too. Yeah, his dad. He doesn't have an agent.
Yeah.
So his dad Ace is in charge of really overseeing everything, and he's brought in Leonard Armato, who was Shaq's marketing guru back in the day, to oversee everything. And when I went over there, he had like that. I walked in, he had that big smile. Hey, I know you, right? And so, yes, he's got a terrific personality, and he's got a Red Bull sponsor, and they're following him around with a camera crew. And we saw him when he was on Amazon a couple weeks ago with Blake and that group, and he was like awesome. So yes, he's already media savvy as far as on TV.
He's destined for greatness if he's using Shaq's marketing engine. Because there was a point where I told my agent, I was like, hey, my agent, Allison, I want some bread. So like, I'll do anything at this point. Like, let me recoup some of this money. And so my friend called me NASCAR Nay because like he said that I was wrapped with every deal. He's going to be NASCAR AJ. Like he's going to have so many deals because there's not a camera and a microphone that he's not comfortable behind. And I think that's what the league needs. Yeah, no, listen, he was shooting threes, and then like he would take a break, and then like someone would come out with a Red Bull, like a bottle, and like here you go, everything. So yes, he gets it. He understands the business component of this. I'm excited to see him at the next level. It looks like he's trained his life to be ready for this moment. All right, let's go through 2 through 5 if that's really cool. Yeah. Utah Jazz, are they now closer with the second pick, closer to contention? I do. Yeah, I think so. You've got Jaren Jackson, you've got Larry Markkinen. Hopefully they'll re-sign Walker Kessler, so your bigs are set. You've got Keontae George, who had a really good year. You're going to get one of the two, probably. It's interesting. We talked on set, like Caleb Wilson could be a little bit of a wild card in this mix, which would be really fun to see because he's such a terrific young man. So you add, 2 is a lot better than 4. I'll just say that. It's a good draft, but I think where you're at 2. And I think if you added Peterson or Dybantsa, I think it gets you closer to, I think you're competing in a play-in and see where you're going. I think, Chiney, the hard thing with with Washington and Utah, and this, is like when you go through losing seasons, is building winning habits and learning how to win, right? Like the Wizards finished the season 1-25. The Utah's record after the All-Star break last 3 years has been terrible. It's like learning how to win and putting players in positions when games mean something in March and April. Something that San Antonio has done, Oklahoma City did a couple years ago. That's going to be the hardest adjustment, but I do think Utah got a lot better by moving up a couple spots. And that's why you hope you have a rookie maybe that cares in that way. Victor just completely shifted the entire framework. I was surprised that this was the first time they won a playoff series, the San Antonio Spurs, since 2017. I was like, it's been a minute, and he accelerated that change largely because of his mindset saying like, I'm not here to just be a rookie or be a young player. I'm here to like actually win games. And so hopefully one of these rookies will have that same mindset. Now, you talked about teams that are far from, winning and trying to get those winning habits. Well, at 3, the Memphis Grizzlies, they have won. They have seen success, but now you have the 3rd pick, and there's this question looming: will Ja still be a part of this organization, or is it time where we use this 3rd pick to pivot? Where do you see things?
Yeah, I think if you ask me right now, will Ja Morant be on the Grizzlies roster to start training camp? I would say probably not. I would say it's probably leaning. I would be more in that category that he won't be on there. They are going to be faced with a decision at 3. If they stay at 3 with Boozer, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson, if you trade Ja, do you want to move back in the draft a little bit and get one of these guards? Chiney, we're going to see a line of guards getting drafted in the top 10. Like, we might get 7 guards going.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be. We're going to get a run of guards. Like, we'll get through the top 3, top 4, and we might go like 6 guards in a row.
That's crazy.
So that's the thing. If you're Memphis and you're thinking, okay, we've got a home for Ja. It's a little bit rich taking a guard at 3. Do we want to maybe move back to like 5, pick up some other things as far as draft picks or maybe another player, and kind of go through that strategy? Because you're going to if you trade him, you're going to probably need a lead guard and everything. So that's the strategy, from the Grizzlies' perspective. But I just think, the Jaren trade and the Bane trade a year ago kind of has signaled that this is kind of a teardown project, and it's a rebuild.
And you said earlier, where are you currently, Bobby?
I am in Chicago.
Okay.
I am at the.
When do we get to start talking about the Bulls at 4? Because the NBA is better when the Chicago Bulls are good. There's so much nostalgia when it comes to their greatness. But it feels like, I always say this, you hear me say this on the show all the time, the worst place in the NBA or any professional sports league to be is in the middle. This team seems like they've been firmly entrenched in the middle for years, maybe have gone down. Maybe they have had like streaks where they won some games. We're like, oh, wait, let's buy in. What's going on with the Bulls?
Well, they moved up from 9 to 4. They hired a new general manager in Bryson Graham, who was in New Orleans for 15 years and has really a good track record. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Nickeil Alexander-Walker back when he came out of college. Was in Atlanta last year. So there's some substance there.
Yeah.
We talked about Utah. We talked about Memphis with Boozer or Wilson. Caleb Wilson at 4 would be really, really good for a team that's, you got Josh Giddey already. You have Matas Buzelis. Add him to the mix would be interesting. Remember, they're also at pick 15. So you can maybe get a big at 15 if you want to go that route. So they're in a good spot. They've got all this money to spend, which I think when you're a rebuilding team, you have to be cautious as far as how you spend money in free agency, because I don't think they're there yet to kind of jump in the deep end here. But yeah, number 4, it was a good day for Chicago as far as moving up 5 spots.
Oh, they can hear that one more time. It was a good day for Chicago. Good. We need to keep those vibes.
What's amazing, Chiney? Like, so real quick, I meet with all these draft prospects and I help them with their interviews. You know how many of these players I've had this year? Like, when I say, like, well, who do you like to watch? Who are the team? Like, who's your favorite player to study? I've had 3 or 4 teams tell me Derrick Rose, the 2010 version of the Bulls,
wow.
Noah, Dang, the Thibodeau teams that were really good. There have been a lot of players who love that group. And as you said, like, when the Bulls are good, like, it's good for, the rest of the league.
It's because that group represents like the hybrid element of the NBA, that Noah, the Dang, like they were very hard-nosed types of competitors. But then Rose showed that like modern, crazy athletic, highly skilled. So like they were the intersection of when the game sort of changed. So I see that. Last but not least, Bobby, at number 5, the Los Angeles Clippers. What a crazy year, both on and off the court. Off the court, I hate that I always say this, but
still going.
Still going. The game that we all grew up playing, but I bet you all the people that are younger than 30 don't know what we're talking about. I always say aspiration. It's like operation. So
well, let's get the ask. So I've had this question. I've had like 5 people ask the question. Like, hey, Bobby, if the Clippers are found to be guilty, are they going to lose that pick? And I'd be like, no, I don't see that happening. I don't see them all of a sudden losing them. Where's it going to go? Up in air? You know, like where's it go? What do we got? 29 first round picks now?
Hey, here's
Everybody
a ball. Let's pick a name.
Yeah. So I think, yes, I think the Clippers at 5 is going to be safe no matter what happens with the Kawhi situation. But goodness gracious, they get number 5. They get an unprotected first from Indiana for Zubac. They've shifted that they're going younger when they traded Harden to Cleveland for Darius Garland. They could go guard. You know, that's the run where you look at it. Darius Acuff from Arkansas, Kingston Fleming from Houston, Keaton Wagler from Illinois, Braden Burrs from Arizona, LeBaron Fox. Like there's like all these different guards based on, and they're all different too. That you could see the Clippers at here, but they've got a lot of decisions. You got Kawhi on an expiring, the aspiration stuff hanging over, but for a Sunday afternoon, it was a good day for the Clippers.
They better savor that, okay? They need to savor that. If anyone has a question about the players, about the scenarios, about the contracts, about the teams, about the decisions, he is the man. Bobby, you're the best.
Thank you, Chiney.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging with us here on Chiney Today. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review. We drop every Tuesday and Friday all over ESPN platforms, digitally. And thanks for rocking with me, y'all. I wasn't 100%, but I tried my best, okay? And lastly, send your mom some love. We're coming off of Mother's Day weekend. It was a beautiful time to celebrate those who have helped us. So shout out to Mama O, who was here in Los Angeles cheering on NECA. We love you so much. And we will see you next time.